That was like the good feeling was actually coming out to my parents. Because they were like, you don't think we knew when you were 13 years old? And I was kind of like, well, why didn't you talk to me about it then? But they knew, and they were so supportive and amazing.
How do you feel about the church now?
I love the church. For people that it works for, I think it's wonderful. I think there's a lot of people that the church does not work for, and they don't know how to get out of it, or the church doesn't know how to let them go out of it, because it's like, this is the only way to live. That's the only thing that bothers me. Mormonism is very like, it's this or nothing. And if you're not living on this, if you're not walking in this direct road, on these cobblestone path, on this and this and that, in these directions, then you're not living a life that's good, and you're going to be miserable, and you're lost in the darkness. And I don't think it's like that at all. I think there's a bazillion different paths to get to the same glorious place. And I think a lot of people are miserable on this path, and it doesn't work for them. And they need to be on the beach path, or the mountain path, or another path that works for them better. I know people that it actually has worked for to a degree, because there are pros and cons. Like, I see, a guy who clearly is gay, and he has a wife and kids, and he seems happy, and I'm like, you know what? You have beautiful kids and a beautiful wife. That's got to be a payoff to all, that you've gone through. Yeah, like, there's pros and cons, I think, and if you can appreciate, because when you're 80 in a wheelchair and you look back on your life, hopefully you have a family to look at and people that made you happy and stuff like that. I kind of see that as my friends and my relationships, and I'm forming my own family through my experiences and stuff, which everyone is, but I think there's also a lot of misery in never tapping into this side of you and saying to yourself, and constantly living with like, I have something wrong with me. That's the biggest problem. And I think it hinders so many other parts of your life. When you feel like there's something wrong with you. I think love is the number one thing. Love is what we will be judged on, which all these Christian groups that hate everybody and are like hucking the Bible at people's heads and spewing out devil and Satan and hate and God hates you and I hate you. Like, the hate is the biggest sin there is, I think. Not two men that love each other.
What was the most distraught you ever were?
I think that period of time where I was at BYU, knowing that I had to move on with my life, knowing I wasn't getting married, and like making that, like, being in that lost place of like, because I didn't know well-adjusted gay Mormon guys. I knew the BYU closeted freaky stories of like, he's married but now, he slept with guys, or now he's back with his wife, or like, I knew of all these weird like act out things that BYU people had done, but it wasn't in this like comfortable open environment where like nobody cared what they did, because BYU everybody cares what you do. It was like this dramatic, like I was totally lost. Like I was either going to be this active member of the church and single and be gay, and that's what the path I was on, or something was going to pull me out of that and I was going to be, this sinner and this lost soul and be not going to church every week, and that was bad. And I was in such like I would go to bed crying and like praying so hard and being like, what am I going to do? Where do I belong? Because I'm miserable right now. I hate going to church. I hate being at BYU. I mean, I hate being at BYU because I was having a good time performing and being in YAs and stuff. But I was so unhappy. Like, I couldn't imagine getting a wife and like dating a woman, and I couldn't imagine being single when I was 50, going to church, going to Sunday school every week. So I was just lost, and I felt like I was trying to live this mold. I didn't know who I was. I didn't feel like I fit in the elders' quorum, because I just felt so different than everybody else, and I was in total crisis. And I guess coming to Broadway was an answer to that, because that's what changed it for me. I think a lot of people stay in Utah. Like,
Right.
you have to go through crisis. You have to, like, you just have to hope you have the right tools. I wish that I had had some role models to look up to. Like, I wish that a normal guy that was out and had been in the church and been in YAs and stuff, that wasn't like creepy old guy that I didn't vibe with his life or whatever, but like some normal guy that I felt like I related to and was like, oh, I can be like that. He's a good guy who's doing good things. Like, I wish I had someone like that, because I didn't really know who I was going to be when I came out and was like living a gay lifestyle. Because there's not a lot of role models advertising in Utah.
Right.
Because you live in such fear. Like, when you think you're different, it's so paralyzing. Like, especially in a religious sense, because you not only feel socially kind of different and paralyzed, and if I come out, people won't like me. But then in a religious setting, you're like, well, if I come out, God won't like me, and these leaders of the church won't like me, so I'm done. And on every front of your life, you just live in, like, fear that your whole world is going to collapse because of the truth.
So have you had some positive experiences in that, like, members of the church that have been very open and cool about the whole thing and embracing? And
Yeah, completely. I mean, all the people here were BYU performers, so they're here to do what I'm doing on a professional level. Like, we all audition together, we work together. I was in a dressing room with Clark, dressing like a lady, as he's reading the Book of Mormon in a short skirt and heels.
It's hysterical.
Right. I wish I had pictures of that to show, like, right now.
Your current relationship, how did that get started? What's it like, and are you happy? How's your life?
It started down the street from here at this restaurant, at the bar. He was a bartender and I came in all the time. We've been together for 3 years. And he's so sweet and supportive, and my parents know Patrick, and they, like, Patrick's mom has come to New York, and my mom for Mother's Day, and they've all, like, had Mother's Day together, and that's different for my parents, for me to be in a relationship this long and for them to meet the family of the boy I'm dating and know him, and he's come on family vacations with us and, like, weddings and stuff, so it's fun. This relationship that I'm in now never would have worked when I was in my, like, conflict coming out mode, which was like 8 years ago. I'm certainly, like, on a journey, like, nothing, I'm never, like, I'm not at the top of the hill and I'm like, I made it, because tomorrow, you know, people die, you know, things happen in life that you just can't foresee, and that can just throw you into things. But I'm really, really good right now as far as, like, spiritually. I've read a lot of books on like Zen Buddhist thought, which is a very grounded, like, nothingness, which is so good for someone coming from, like, our background.
Oh God.
No, but it's good. I mean, anything could happen. You have to keep working. That's the thing. You can never just be complacent with anything, because, like, sometimes I don't want to smile at people. Sometimes I don't want to talk to people. Sometimes I don't want to, like, face my boyfriend because he's driving me crazy. Like, every day I have my own little neurotic things that I'm like, or I don't want to do the same show that I've been doing for 1.5 years, like, again. The exact same thing I did 2 years ago in Legally Blonde, I just did tonight in a show. And there's other days that I'm like, I've never been happier. I'm on Broadway. Look what I'm doing. Look at all these people around me. I'm dancing. And I come home to this, like, beautiful man that I'm with, and I'm like, how did I get so lucky to be with you? Or we'll be at, like, a crowded bar, and he'll just be, like, staring at me and in love with me, and I'm like, how did I get so lucky to have this guy be focused on me and with me and, like, into me with all these other guys here that, you know, he could just be with. And I'm healthy and I'm alive, and I just turned 32, and I'm like, I don't care. Like, I love getting older because I feel like I'm smarter and more stable with every year, and that's what's important to me. Not, like, staying young for the rest of my life. I want to grow old. I want to be the best 50-year-old anybody's ever seen. I'm gonna be like Sally O'Malley kicking.